Well, good morning to you all. Good morning. It's Saturday. What's that? The 19th of January 2019. It's a sort of damp, dank start to the day. And, you know, we've got plenty to do today. Not got a great amount of drive about me this morning, I must admit. This sort of weather makes you a little bit lethargic, doesn't it? What have we got to report? Not a lot. The onions, the white onions are growing. I don't know why the red onions just don't seem to be doing anything. Never mind. First job of the day, I'm going to shoot into Azay. That's the town where Agnes Sorel was born. I'm not going to go and see her birthplace. That's not what it's about. I need some paraffin. And looking at the weather forecast for the next couple of weeks, when I say I need it, what I mean is I need it. So, yeah, we'll get some paraffin. I want to get some vegetables. Exciting stuff, really, isn't it? But when we get back, we'll think about what is more fun. Well, that was a successful raid on the shops. Paraffin bought, vegetables bought, couple of little neck curtains bought. So we're all set up now for the weekend, leaving me a weekend that I can just work steadily. I think the first thing I need to be doing is where I simply dumped the contents of the car on the floor of the barn. I think I really need to get into the barn and put it right so that I can get some work done. But before we do that, I'm going to get the fire lit and have a late breakfast, early lunch. I think that would be a sensible thing to do. Well, I think this is my first job. This is my table saw, upside down. Not really happy that the blade is cutting as nicely as it should, so I've bought myself a new blade, and I'm trying to work out how on earth to get the old blade out. And of course this is a modern machine with guards and everything. I've slackened those two screws, and that allows me to get a bit towards the blade, but this guard is going to have to come off so that I can get in there with a spanner and do what I need to do. I think this is going to be a comical job one way or another. Right, let's when I opened this, it was absolutely chock full with sawdust. That may not have helped, of course, and when I look I can see there's one or two teeth have lost little bits off them. I guess that's not really a surprise. The whole table saw cost me €69, and replacement blades are sort of €40, so I'm guessing that the blade that was in it was about as cheap as you can get away with. Right, let's get this guard out and see what we can do. Because with a lot of very cheap tools, you always wonder if you're supposed to use them until they're worn out, or if you're supposed to use it once and throw it away. What I couldn't find easily was a way of locking up the spindle. There is a flat on the spindle, but it's not enough really to get hold of. In the box was a spanner for that nut. That was useful. So I just jammed the blade up with a small cold chisel. Not the right way to do it, but that sort of worked. That got that undone. Yeah, now I shall have a small... Oh, I won't have a small battle. That came off, didn't it? That was good. I will probably do things with a grindstone and improve this blade, but I have got another blade to put on it. And it seems to me that while I've got it upside down and what have you, I ought to do some improvements to it. While I was winding this handle backwards and forwards, which adjusts the depth of the cut, I noticed that some of these linkages really aren't fitted what I would consider properly. They're not particularly clever. And this is true of all tools that are made to a price. You know, if you want it to do good work, then probably you should give it the going over with some spanners. So that's what I'm going to do for a little while. And a brush to get all of the sawdust out. Incidentally, when I was in the shop where I bought the blade, which is in England, I couldn't for the life of me remember the diameter of the blade. So I stood in the shop with my jelly bone, as you do, and I googled the shop where I bought this, and I found this machine, or what I thought was this machine, and I read the spec, and I got a 190mm diameter blade. The blade I've taken out of it is a 210, so this isn't going to cut as deep with this blade on it as with the one that I took out. However, I don't do too much really deep cutting. And when I go to England next, where blades like this are a lot cheaper than they are here in France, I will get a 210mm blade. The other thing you always need to look at is the diameter of the spindle. Now these blades come with adapters. So if you find that you've got one that the hole is too big, it's got adapters to sleeve it down. However, the spindle size on this blade was right. Yeah, it just won't cut quite as deeply as the one I took out. That's not a big problem, at least it will cut. But what I'd like the machine to do is to cut straight, and winding this handle backwards and forwards, I found it was distorting this plate. So, you know, we'll give it a good clean, a good service. Well, that blade made a huge difference. I've just ripped through quite a lot of timber. Yeah, that will keep me warm tonight. So that was a job. Yeah, I'll say well done. It sort of worked, so happy with that. Right, okay, what's next? Well, it's a grand building. Not so wonderful without the sun on it, but it's still a grand building. This is how hectic life is here on a Saturday afternoon. I do like peacefulness. Well, I've cut firewood enough for me to keep warm for the rest of the day, so I thought I ought to try and do stuff that needs doing. Now, this is the door that separates the house from the barn. Well, it would separate it, except there's a great big hole up there that is another job to be done. But this is the famous door that doesn't have a handle. Now, I'm about to rectify that. Well, I guess there's a bit of Murphy's Law involved in this. There's the handle. I opened the door. The door opened. but it seems to have swelled a little bit, and I'm going to have to go downstairs and find a plane and just shoot it in so that it closes nicely. The other thing I'm going to have to do is the key that goes through it is too long, so that's a job to be done, to cut that down to the right length, and then to finally fix that keeper slot. But I think that sort of goes in keeping with the effect I wanted on this job. Right, what am I going to do? I'm going to go and find me plane. Well, oh dear, it's been it's been a day. It's been a good day. What did we do today? We got up, we went shopping in his Ursa Cruise. We bought a few things that were good fun. The fun thing, because I don't think potatoes and onions are particularly fun, the fun thing, just to let you know that I haven't forgotten that I'm supposed to be building model railways. This is quite a good magazine. It has models that you can make out of card inside it. Yeah, and then I came back here and I changed the blade on the circular saw, and I had a bit of lunch. That was good. Cut an awful lot of firewood. The weather forecast, when I looked at it on Thursday, said that next week we're going to have snow and considerable amounts of it. But the forecast has changed, and it looks like actually we're not going to have snow. It looks like it's going to be a little bit warmer. But it's, you know, warm is one of those funny words this time of year. Warm means that I've spent all day wearing that while I've been doing things. The progress with the house, what did we achieve? Not very much. I've got a door handle fitted on the door to what will be the model railway room in the fullness of time. Not much of an achievement for a whole day. Oh, I cooked dinner, quite proud of it actually. Chicken casserole with potatoes and a turnip, parsnip, not a turnip, parsnip, and yeah, that was good. There we are. It's been a good day. Tomorrow will be another wonderful day on shore. Okay, good night to you all. Good night.